Today, I am stoked to bring Dustin Oldfather, Oldfather Group with Compass out of coastal Delaware and Maryland. What is going on, bro?
How you doing, Suneet, man? It's so nice to finally get connected and get to spend some time with you. Really grateful
Yes.
that you invited me on today.
And I like to meet people who I know about or we're in the same circles. I like to meet them in this format because it's always like good learning conversations. It's kind of like a mastermind with a new person with, additional skills, someone with talent, someone who I respect. So, how's business going this year?
Yeah, man. It's been interesting with the excruciatingly tight inventory, and some of the buyers getting fatigued. But at the same time, we've still had another banner year, seen our business grow, and sellers are getting amazing offers. It's one of our something that we're working on is crazy house offer. Like, hey, do you want a crazy offer for your house? Because we don't know how high it's going to go. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Some things are
That's a
bidding up
good one.
off the
Crazy
comps, so
house
you're getting,
offer. Good.
yeah. So we want to have some fun with it and kind of break through the noise. But it's tough for sellers too, because then they're boxed in. So it's tight, but that's it's a different value we bring right now. Like historically, we've always really enjoyed being able to shop and to help people to get to the right place, which is part of our value as agents, at least on working with buyer clients. And so it's challenging, and people are disappointed, and at the same time the inventory is still tight and the interest rates are still good and there's lots of demand, and now everything's going to open up, and it's exciting, it's fun, like probably for you and I, it's the best real estate market we've ever seen, as long as you have listings to sell.
Yeah, by a lot. It's definitely good. It's definitely good out there. So tell me about the organization. How much support staff do you have, and give me like a general breakdown of them.
Yeah, we were started on the team building path before teams were even called teams. Probably around 2008, right? The bottom of the market. And, we had started in 2005, kind of doggy battled against the waterfall, and then went over the waterfall with everybody when the market collapsed. And so we were looking for a new way of doing business, and that's when we really embraced the internet consumer, and started with pay-per-click lead
What
pay-per-click
year was
leads,
this?
probably 2008. Yeah, it was
So it
probably
started with PPC and maybe some kind of SEO in 2008.
yeah, I mean, the SEO has been one of those things that's been up and down, and I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars and never got anything from it. I think we got the right. I mean, it's like every year, like, oh, I get this $10,000. Awesome. Yeah, neat. Am I going to get any? Is anyone going to call me? They're like, no. You just keep paying it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of we've done that drill, and so just a lot like you, we're first to really embrace the portals, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. And when Trulio actually was a thing, it was a different different animal. It's been a while since we even forget about that. I think about it every time I call Colorado. I'm like, oh, that's right, you were with Trulio.
Yes,
Of course, they're
that's
all
true.
like,
That's
oh,
so true, dude. Yeah.
yeah. I had the Trulia sales process was a lot of fun. They were the wacky.
They were
Man.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They
were
were the
totally
renegade.
different.
So yeah, we started on that path, of creating online opportunities, which led to developing our team. And so, full listing department, turnkey listings, our marketing team as our videographer, our architectural photographer, social media content specialist, as well as a traditional copywriter. And then we have a client success department, taking people from contract to close. We're now blending their client success coordinators into actually writing contracts for our agents, as well as starting to handle some of the repairs. Yeah, as we've continued to see, like, especially, and you probably have seen the same thing, your best agents are now, they're overwhelmed and they're writing 3, 5, 10, 20 offers before they get a deal done, and they're just gassed. And so we got to do everything we can to keep them out in front of the client. And so we're kind of working through those things. And then, organizationally, we have an operations director, a sales manager, more of a traditional broker, mentor, leader, and then my wife handles the finances. So we're about 50 or 60 of us working together with the mortgage company and insurance. So a
You are
reasonably sized
crushing it,
team.
dude.
Oh, buddy, that's really generous. We're just really fortunate, I mean, everybody in the middle, I think, is going to get squeezed. If you're not a tight, small team, or if you're not a really established team that's got lots of just amazing service, so that agents can have, it's more quality of life. Like I don't know if I would do it over if I had to go back into real estate right now as an individual agent and just get, it is a tough market. And so developing all of those services and support is really where we're headed. It's where we've been, but we were fortunate to get on the path a little bit earlier because of the introduction to PPC.
Dude, you're giving me some good ideas right now. Good.
Well, share them with me.
You're giving me some good ideas, because I think you really hit like the nail on the head. Is the buying process is doubled, at least, just because people are getting beat out. The fatigue amongst buyers, and I'm going to go ahead and say a lot of agents too,
Yeah.
is more. And it's different. Like, it's different than how it used to be like 2 years ago. So maybe I need to make some adjustments in my support staff. Right? That's good. So that's something that I got. California is a different beast than Delaware and Maryland as far as all the legalities with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's some good stuff. How many agents are in the organization?
About 40 agents. And,
Cool.
Now, continuing to grow 3 to 5 new agents per month. We're very heavy on training and development.
Wow.
Between you and I think the only differentiator as we move forward as brokerages is the quality of your agents. I mean, at some point, there's the highest level of marketing you could do, from video to photography to copy to your distribution. And it's really going to be the agent who's consumer facing. You can't sell 1,000 homes by yourself. You have to have great people that are excited about being in front of the client. And so we've got to give them all the tools that we possibly can to learn and grow.
That's super good. What about the content team? Because I'm working on that too. This is a timely conversation that we're having. You already kind of gave me a great nugget, which I appreciate. And I'm thinking about, hey, I just need to hire somebody else.
There's always one more hire.
Yeah, I thought I just hired 2 people last week. I don't know. I have to ask somebody. I
gotta check on whether I hired people or not. You are a badass. You really are.
So the content team. So you have a photographer mostly for your listings. Is that right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And he's been with us for years, has a very special technique he likes to do, but combination between our videographer is also we call our director of creative content. In fact, we spun him off, not in a flip way, but we took his talents that we developed in the real estate company and then created a separate marketing company. And so using a lot of the techniques we've developed, he's serving some other clients, but we're a core client, till the end. So he
marketing company too.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Come on.
We're not. Yeah, that was really just, we wanted to help Jordan to grow his business and his life. He's a talented young man, and we wanted to be in business together. And at the same time, we wanted to protect our interest in the investment. And hey, we really helped develop him as a talent, right? And as you know, it's really tough when you develop people and then they're like, that's awesome, I'm going to go make more money somewhere else. You're like, yeah, well, why didn't you tell me first, right? So because I would I would have paid you more money. Like, well, you didn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you freaking talk to me? These people, dude, don't get me started.
Well, and everybody's out in the marketplace right now, so the marketplace is changing all the time. If somebody gets an email and they're like, "Oh man, I'm going to get a new job." Whew. So
Dude, you're nailing it over and
but
over
it,
again. I love it.
but it also gets back to, like, we go through a lot of these lessons in coaching and intimacy and in depth of our organizations, the same way that we talk about, hey, how can we continue to give our agents more, to train better, to give them a better experience. We've got to do that organizationally too. You have to create an environment where people wouldn't think about leaving. We just changed brokerages, and we didn't. The people were excited. They were like, hey, let's go, let's
Wow,
do
good.
this. So all of our key personnel
Which
and
is
staff
big.
were,
Yeah, that's a big thing.
yeah, yeah. Big decisions, and we had a great experience, and then just had an opportunity that was really special for us, and so we were excited about that. And in that, which is also tough. You got to see the ugly side of the industry, which is that everybody in the market was just pounding our people with calls and come work with us, and you know what I mean. It was just like I was. It was like someone just turned on some the scary music, and it never stopped. But it was interesting to see that even people that were trying to recruit our personnel and other people in our company that we've developed, that people wanted to stay, and it's
Yeah,
not
huge.
it's not about money for everybody, but money's a part of it. It's got to be fair compensation, but the compensation has to match with the contribution of the organization. And so I think, maybe just to kind of put a bow on that, really, we as business leaders have got to create environments where people want to stay, and that
Sure.
and that's a connection and camaraderie that people get within the organization.
And they can experience growth too, right? Like everybody
Right.
wants growth. So I'm just going to say this for all our listeners and all our viewers. If your administrative or operational staff are a great team and you think you're worth some more money, create a compelling reason and go speak to your leader.
I love it. Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like everybody listening,
yeah. That's
compelling
good advice.
reasons. If you have a smart leader and you're compelling, I think sky's the limit. Good. I really do. If you don't got a compelling reason, then don't say shit. Okay. So um really quick, you said something about you have a copywriter on staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Full
Yep.
time?
Correct.
Damn, that's what I want. Tell me about that.
Well, he was one of our first marketing hires. He wrote for the number of the local papers. Name's James Deal, talented journalist, has written books, and just loves to write. And probably around 2009, I went to him and I said, "Hey, I'd love to work with you." And then we kind of looked at the comp, and he had a really substantial comp package where he was at, and it just didn't make financial sense for us. We couldn't do it
Sure.
versus what we would get out of the copy at the time. And but interestingly enough, his wife was from the Philippines, and his children, had been to the Philippines and had good experiences there. And I said, well, I can't afford you to pay you what you make here, but I'm dating myself. Well, obviously our budget's grown, but I can't afford to pay you what you would make here, but I could pay you pretty well if you lived in the Philippines. And so he took the flyer and flew out to the Philippines with his family and reestablished everything. Just got his girls into the college. Now he's come back stateside. So we've had a great experience there. For copy, we have him focused on things that we know that are starting to move, that are moving the needle. Agent bios,
Yes.
agent profiles. We do like a deeper, like just like an article about our agents, right? To bring out something interesting that's unique. Like when you start to really get deep with people, you see that, man, there's a lot here. People have had some tough experiences and some amazing experiences. We had someone that used to work in professional wrestling. Like, we had somebody,
Wow, that's
who'd,
awesome.
who'd gone from being soccer mom to doing, Ironmans. So there are so many great stories, and we want to make sure we share those. We talk about that agent experience, right? Like, how do we really get them connected to their sphere of influence, right? And how do you get them connected on social? And that's with video and with words. And so when you can get somebody to dig in, right, then the more they consume that content, the more connected they feel to the person. And not know, we want to provide it so that people want to listen to, right? Like that's the other thing is like, you can't just make content to make content. You got to make stuff people want now. It used to be like, if you just, that's table stakes, just making content. Now you've got to really refine it in. And so James will also do the deal of the week features where we'll do a deeper dive on a property, hopefully before it's under contract. So we don't have to kill it. But combination of that, and then press releases. He will transcribe. I'll do some simple videos each week, little like Q&A questions, and hey, here's the state of the market, and he'll transcribe those, turn them into a blog, and then create that on the page. Yeah, yes. We're still working on his SEO skills. He's a little, he's still old school. He'd use a typewriter if he could. Although he loves his Mac now.
Now he got the Mac. I haven't even seen a typewriter, bro, in a long time.
But the thing is he just loves to write, and that's why he was the right person. So and neglected to mention our weekender. We curate all of the events for the week in each region, and then we kind of batch them up and share them with our clients, and then we keep that rolling.
So good, dude. That is so
really generous.
Good. That is
really generous. Thank you.
That is so good.
Yeah, it's a gift forward.
Man.
Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you. So highlighting that. And then actually we use a service called Map Me. And I know you geek out on a lot of the technology stuff, but we'll actually map all the events for the week, and that changes. So if somebody goes to the site, or the page, they can see what the events are for the weekend. And so we've gotten some great feedback on that. And it's just there's no call to action. It's just, here it is. We'd love to do this. Perfect. And then kind of gets people engaged and bring them into the website. And it's also kind of a nice, it's a nice piece to connect with potential clients too, because you have buyers that are coming from out of the area. You're like, hey, you know what? I just wanted you to know this was going on this weekend. You check it out here, and kind of keep people re-engaged by offering something, saying, when are you going to buy something? It's like, we got to get away from that and get more to a nurturing approach to the consumer journey.
I love that. That is so good. We're like struggling. We're like in a weird place with copy right now, because my goal starting June 1st is to publish 20 pieces of good content a month, 20 a month, which I think is a lot, right? But we're going to do it. So we're publishing all the content, and then nobody has any time to write the copy.
Well, I'm glad we talked. I was just introduced to a new platform called conversion.ai.
I looked at it yesterday.
Yep. And so that's a way to create content at scale. We're still working through it as well. But I think that has a lot of promise from what I could see so far. And that seems to me like, you know what, you could, in a good way, work with somebody who may be remote, virtual assistant. You say, hey, here are the parameters. This is what I want. And then crank them out. And then you could have them filtered through a local copywriter to refine those a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I have an army of people down in the Philippines. Do you have a bunch of VAs or no?
We do, combination. Yeah. Stateside. And we have some VAs that work, in the States as well as in the Philippines.
The Filipinos are incredible. I've had this one guy now for 5 years. I don't know what I would do without him. He is incredible.
Well, the work ethic is just off the charts.
Yeah. Dude.
And like
loyalty, work ethic.
Yeah, Adiz on our team. She was at the hospital with her when her mom was sick, and she's like, "Yeah, there's a tsunami coming, but I'm trying to use my hotspot, but the building is concrete." And I was like, "What are you doing? Like, are you kidding me?" He's like, "Well, mom's sick, but I can still work next to." And I'm not that you want this in the best possible light. It's just the amazing commitment. Whereas, the stateside worker is, maybe more apt to take a little time off. So, just shave a little bit of time here and there, oh, look at that. There's the squirrel.
I know. Yeah. I mean, that's real. That's like leadership, right? How about, and this is what always happens during these conversations, but especially today, and hopefully this still brings value to our listeners and viewers. As I start talking to somebody smart like yourself, and I get all these ideas, and I just want to ask all the selfish stuff, really for me and my business. So viewers and listeners, hey, here's how I do it. So carrying on, you guys do a lot of leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any ISA program?
Yeah, I didn't mention our call center. We call them our client concierges. Yeah, I probably missed that one in there. And so we have an inbound team and an outbound team. And so those are
Smart.
different
That's super smart.
personalities. Thank you for
Yep.
that. And then we also have a virtual service that we're testing right now. Across the board, most of those virtual call centers have not had great success. So we're using it as a supplement and a little bit of a pilot right now. But our inbound team is a combination of stateside and Filipino callers, and they're amazing. And I think this month we've set 120 appointments for our agents call center.
Terrific.
Our outbound callers, it's a little different animal. We have them set to about 50% of those hours are on recruiting calls and trying to connect with new agents. Which moves the needle more than trying to bang on expired and withdrawals that just don't exist anymore. So,
sure.
So that's a part of. We have a couple other referral services we use, but combination and getting that 7-day-a-week coverage.
Dude,
good luck doing that. Stateside. It's just
no. Yeah, I had a meeting about that 2 hours ago. Yeah, with my guys. Virtual for ISAs. I've had success with Power ISA out of Mexico. I've been working with them for about 4 or 5 years, and more often than not, their ISAs have been terrific. I think there's been one guy that ended up just going MIA.
Yeah, and it does. That happens anywhere.
Yeah, that happens anywhere. But they're all trained. I think Dale Archdeacon was training them, who's a terrific ISA trainer. If not, the owner is a great guy, Gus. I could send you his info. Yeah, the ISAs are like another challenge always, right? It's just a whole other thing.
Let's flip it on you for a minute, though. So where do you see the industry going?
Where do I see it going? So I think that I'm buying an expensive ass house, so I better keep going good or I'm going to have problems. But, but like 2008, but we won't go there. I mean, you and I both coach with John Cheplack. I get a lot. I found that when I listen to what John says, he's usually pretty right. So I think that the bigger teams, the more successful teams with the more resources, will continue to take more market share. That's what my friggin' plan is, right? And yours too, right? I mean, somebody goes and joins whatever brokerage, or joins my team. Like, bro, like I have every CRM, ISAs, full support staff, almost every lead in town from one source are the other. Like, what are you gonna do by joining some old school shop that gives you a bullshit CRM and a shitty split, right? What are you gonna do? Like, I will win. So I think that'll continue to happen, right? I mean, it makes sense for freaking agents to join a team. And I have lots of seasoned agents on my team. I'm sure you do too, who have incredible lifestyles and make a ton of money, right? And either, on my team, we give different splits for the SOI deals. And I think that there's enough to go around to where we can afford to do that and still provide services, right? And still, have the typical team split on any team generated opportunity. And there's plenty of agents on my team who make a ton of money. A couple of them make more than me, I think, which is great, right? Like you want your salespeople to make more money than you. Yes. So
I have a client who just sold a $20 million an agent who just sold a $20 million property. I was like, I've never gotten $1 million commitment. That's awesome.
Is that how much it was?
Yeah. It was pretty substantial.
Really?
So, yeah.
Dude, that's so 20 million out there.
That's a unicorn in our market, but he double-ended it.
Damn, good for him. Buy that guy a steak.
And I was like, that's awesome. I'm like, I'm not taking more money from you.
Yeah.
No, good stuff.
Good. And as far as like the big tech Um, I think a lot of people are really worried about some of these big tech companies. And I think that people always find something to be worried about, right? You and I are both seasoned and good entrepreneurs. We can pivot, right? Like I said off air, like I have great relationships with some of these big firms, and I'll continue to have great relationships as these changes happen and just pivot and figure out the best way to provide for our staff, our agents, our families, and for our lifestyles, which I want to be good still, right?
Mhm.
Being broke isn't any fun.
No, 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 it's not.
So let's talk about like leads real quick with you. What are your best lead sources right now?
Well, we're a Zillow Flex partner, and that's
Oh, cool.
has been productive. We've always had a great relationship with Zillow. Always used Realtor.com and had a great experience there. Right now, the for different markets for us is we cover a larger footprint. Maybe not a larger footprint, but we deal in multiple markets because our beach towns are segregated real close to each other. So Maryland, Ocean City is different than coastal Delaware. Berlin, they're a little different animals. And so we're seeing the different lead sources are having different success rates in different markets.
Fascinating.
So yeah, it is one of those things where for us, we're kind of moving the levers up and down depending on what kind of feedback we're getting. And also maybe like you've seen too, sometimes there's seasonality for when certain portals are performing better than others. And so, yeah, we're across the board, just about every source you could be into, we're into, pay-per-click, social. We're just testing a strategy that's got us down to like $1.50 per lead on social, which is, pretty
That's cheap.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We just ran the numbers with the marketing team this morning, and
Was it is it that bot thing, right?
ManyChat, yeah, ManyChat,
Yeah.
and then there's kind of a technique behind it. So there's some things to do there. It takes a little while to set up, but earning the consumer's trust, like you got to give them something they want and have them be excited about it, and then you got to give them what they ask for, and then so we're driving them to our website, and then they're going to be retargeted from there. So hey,
What kind of site are you driving them to?
Sierra Interactive.
We have one of those. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yep. And we've been very pleased with them as a platform. There's always more work to do on your website, but
Yeah.
so yeah, just
Good.
across the board, we sign up for every referral service that's available, and we try to get to them
Smart.
first, and we do radio, TV. Um, you know, we don't. It's hard to get the hand raisers from those. They just when you get a come list me call, a lot of times they're from that, but it's hard to say where they saw you.
Sure.
I remember I was on TV and someone was like, "Yeah, I heard you on the radio." I was like, "I'm not doing any radio ads, so I don't know who you heard." But but it's when you get large market penetration on your advertising and your marketing and your brand, and people come to identify with you, then it doesn't matter what channel they come from, they just come in. So yeah, and
So
probably like you, right? Go ahead.
traditional marketing too. So you got the TV and the radio. You have any billboards or bus benches or any of that stuff?
No, we don't do. We're not. We're so many billboards. It's a little noisy, and so for me, I thought there were more productive ways to invest, especially if, like as you know, with the online consumer, you can just turn up that knob and get more output. I think if I was gonna, and I've been toying around with it, if I was gonna do a billboard, it would be something really simple instead of super branded, and it would be some sort of call to action.com.
Yeah.
Just, hey, your house is worth,
Saleguarantee.com.
yeah,
Yep.
your home is worth more now than ever.com. Click here. Something that just real simple, drive people in, because as Gary Vee said, people aren't even looking at the road. He's like,
Bro,
they're looking
yes.
at their phones. He's like, they're not looking at billboards. And that might
I'm
come
a
off.
believer in that. And I talked to John about it. I mean, as you know, there's other people in the group that are big in it. But dude, in California, like I don't even know the radio station anymore, number one. So I don't know if radio would necessarily work here. I watch YouTube TV. I don't even know where the normal channels are, right?
Right.
I don't leave my house. So when I do, I'm not, I'm really looking at the road, or I'm looking at my phone. So yes.
Yeah, and you were asking about sources. You kind of triggered something. We went through the Tom Breeze workshop for YouTube pre-roll, and we've had success with that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a longer, slow burn, but it's been effective. And what's interesting about that, and forgive me if you're already familiar with it, but you get lots of impressions prior to when someone clicks off the ad. So
Sure.
basically it runs as a pre-roll, and then if they keep watching, great. Then then they like your story and your content, and then they stay with you. And then the more time on brand, the more connection they have, right? But those first 15 seconds, you're still getting an impression. You're still on the screen. And then, our next step is establishing retargeting from there. That's been a little more complicated, but we want to connect that to our database so that people once they opt in and say they want to be a part of our community, then they're starting to see us on all the platforms.
Yeah. So I think, does your internal marketing team handle that, or is that outsourced?
Internal. Yeah, you need, it is technical work. It's very technical, but once you get it set up, just a simple offer. I've worked on all of those scripts based off of the formula that Tom Breeze has developed for other industries that have had success, and we've seen it turn into clicks, people registering. So,
Well, look, we have a special guest on our podcast.
Oh my goodness, who is this?
We are recording a podcast. This is my daughter, Serena.
Hi, Serena.
She's saying hi. She can't hear you.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, you have to go. Come back in a few minutes. This is real life.
No. Do you like me?
I like your dress. Yeah, you're a rock star. Get out of here, rock star.
You've been looking at all this
real life, bro. Real life. Good. That'll be a good treat for everybody who views and
well, you have a Serena, I have a Sonia and a Sophia. So
yes, I have a Serena and I have an Amara, who's 1.5 years. So you have 2 daughters too.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been really good. I'm stoked that I got to meet you. You're a smart dude. I learned a lot. So we got to do this again. We're already friends on social. Any final words for what you got going on out there? Or if people want to get a hold of you and send you some money in the form of a referral, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, they just want to send me the money. That's even better. You can follow me on Instagram at Dustin Oldfather. There aren't a lot of Oldfathers in the world, so I'm on all the channels, whatever's best for everybody. I'm real active on Facebook still, actually. It's kind of my preferred channel. I like Instagram, but still haven't quite got it. But I'm there, and then I get messages like, oh, awesome. Let's talk to somebody. There's a lot of sales stuff too. So yeah, just love to connect. Just grateful for you and for your contributions to the industry. And, you're really a lighthouse, somebody who's doing it right and running an incredible organization. And I just feel super blessed to have been able to spend some time with you and to know you.
Well, dude, we're doing it again because I learned a lot. You called me like I did not deserve that compliment. You got a lot of stuff happening right. So I'm super stoked. Thanks for your time, man. And we'll see you soon.